Hey everyone, Suzie and Grant here. This is a special edition of the Journey Now podcast.
We'll see how
A
special.
bonus episode.
Soon.
We're not really sure how it's going to turn out, but it's something.
But in the middle of this joking, we just had a conversation with the two founders of Legacy Mission Village that I think you're going to really enjoy. It's a story about two people who, from their own experiences, built a community to help and serve and build relationships with other people. But it's also a story about understanding the ways that conflict develop between people and the ways that we overcome that. What did you think, Suzie?
Yeah, I mean, their story is so fascinating. They're survivors of the Rwandan genocide. So if you've seen Blood Diamond, right? And
I haven't seen Blood Diamond.
Really?
No.
Okay. So, well, we know about the Rwanda. We know.
Oh, wait. Who's in that? Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Producer Edwin for the win.
Yeah, there you go. But their story is really significant because they are survivors of like the kind of trauma that I don't think the average person listening to this podcast can even wrap their minds around, right? Like she was talking about how they were separated for 2 years while she had 5 kids and she was in a refugee camp and he was finally here and they were waiting for permission to come out here. I mean, there's so many things in their story, but there were a couple things I found really fascinating. One was that just them talking about the genocide and how it came about and how it was the politics of the day that caused division between one people group.
Right. So this wasn't a religious war. It wasn't an
Right.
ethnic war. This was a country of, I think they said 85% Christians who are indistinguishable visibly,
Yeah.
but because of political conflict,
Yeah. All this hate and division arised. And
1 million people were killed in a month.
yeah, I mean, that's something for us to pay attention to, I think for sure.
Yeah.
At least for me, like I feel like, oh man, that makes me, with all the feelings that I have about everything, it makes me really want to ask God to help me become a peacemaker and not get so wound up about stuff.
Yeah. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this story because, I mean, talk about peacemakers. That's what they became here in America.
And peacemakers, not just by way of like, you know, making a good life and bringing people together, but peace like in the sense of I'm in awe listening to her and listening to both William and Ebralie talk about the grace of God and the peace of God and the favor of God and all of that they're actually rejoicing in, even when they experience such horrific things.
Right. Yeah. It's amazing to sit with those two people. It's a long piece, so we're going to break it into 2 sections and listen to part 1 and then come back and listen to the rest of it again. We're so proud at Journey to be able to partner with Legacy Mission Village and with the other organizations that we have relationships with. And so this is just the first in a series of podcasts with our partners. And we hope you'll enjoy learning about them and maybe becoming involved with them.
Thanks, everyone. Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of the Journey Now podcast where Grant is with me today, our special guest co-host, Grant Opperman, who's usually behind the scenes editing and cutting and telling us things that we are not allowed to say in public.
Just living in Suzie's shadow.
But we're excited today because we are introducing you to 2 of our newest friends and partners with Journey Church, William and Ebralie, and I'm not going to try to say your last name. So can you say it for us?
Mwizerwa.
Mwizerwa. Yes. And they are the founders of Legacy Mission Village, who we've just recently begun to partner with. And with a few people are volunteering on a regular basis. And we are just really excited about growing a relationship with you. So Legacy Mission Village, I'm going to give the brief overview. You guys work with refugees and immigrants, and you empower them and teach them things like English and citizenship classes, and you work with the whole family. So you're getting kids ready for kindergarten and helping them really to adapt to living in a new culture. And as soon as you walk in the doors, it's a beautiful community. So why don't you tell us more about that? Because that's just the overview.
So Legacy Mission Village is a vision and a call which came from our suffering. We are originally from Rwanda. We were forced to leave our country and became refugees since 1994. You know, we got genocide that killed 1 million of people in 100 days. By grace, our family survived, so we fled the country. We went through different countries, and by blessing, we ended up in Nashville, Tennessee, in the USA.
Can you give us a timeline of from 1994 to when you got to Nashville, like what other countries you stayed in?
So the tragedy began on April 6, 1994. So we get attacked, and many times we survived. We get stopped. I can't say arrested. We get stopped in different ways. But we survived. We fled the country. We went through a neighboring country. We get in Kenya, where we spent 4 and 6 years. I spent 4 years. I came here. My family joined me after 2 years.
Wow.
So that time, I would say, was a hard time, but it was a time to experience God's love, His people love, and welcome. And we have been really, even worse suffering, we have been blessed to see a strong faith surrounding us. We lived by prayer because we didn't have anything to lay on. We didn't have a job, we didn't have property, we didn't have anything. Just we lived by mercy of God and people. That's one of the great experience. Refugees meet and see and live.
Take us back to before 1994, because did this come on suddenly? Were you living in relative peace before that, or had there been tension? And what was it like all of a sudden to see your lives so radically change? What were you doing before then?
So our own experience, mine and my wife Ebralie, we were born from 2 tribes. We have, I would say, only 2 tribes. The third one is just little. It's not significant. So our parents were from both tribes. And
The 2 tribes on the sides of the conflict?
yes, of the
Wow.
conflict.
What are they called, the tribes?
We have Hutus and Tutsis.
Yeah.
This, I will not say they have been in conflict, but politically, when they have political issues or political profit, they use them to divide and conquer.
Right.
So that's what happened, because it began when I was little. It began in 59, and it was still going on. 94 became a climax. So that's where it get worse.
Yeah.
So this was bad time for the whole country and for the world, because it didn't affect only Rwandan, it affected other peoples too. So that what happened, we used to have good jobs. She was working for churches. She was a finance administrator. I was working for a coffee company. So that's how everything stopped. And we had to run away. We had a little baby of 1 year, and she was pregnant. So that was a really hard time.
Yeah.
And Ebralie, were you Was your family targeted specifically because of the intertribal relationship that you had?
You know, when you get in Rwanda, even now, it's really hard to tear apart anyone, any tribe. We all look alike.
Mm-hmm.
So many people were targeted because of the labels that sometimes colonial powers have put on people. They will say Tutsis look like this, Hutus look like this,
Yeah.
but in the mix of it, everyone, all of us speak the same language. Rwandans speak only one language. After the colonial powers, we embraced French as a second language, but the Kinyarwanda is one that unites all of us. So there is no such a thing as there is a Hutu language or a Tutsi language. So everyone looks like. And really, I always tell people, I've never seen hatred in my family, though my mom was a Tutsi and my dad was a Hutu.
Wow.
The intermarriages that had happened before can really testify that the hatred became only political.
Right.
When politics comes in, in the mix, they divide and conquer. And so that is what happened. So targeted because of this and that, it's an understatement, because you really don't know why someone would be targeted. But if you are not affiliated with this or that power, you become a target.
Mm-hmm.
So we were targeted just because probably we were looking like Tutsis, right? And why not? Because we are a product of both. You cannot say in the mix of anything that you are 100% or 50%,
Right.
but you look what you look like. So you become a target. So many Hutus got killed as well because of, whoever would look at them. And so we were targeted just because they would look at us. We were not affiliated with any political powers, but that does not mean that the powers will not target you. So independent or not independent, you become a target anyway. So we passed through a lot of things. But all in all, God spared our life just because he knew who we are. He knew we were not affiliated with any wrongdoing. He knew we were not affiliated with anything that is against the government or against the people who are returning in the country, because injustice is not us. We were not for any injustice.
Right.
So we were targeted. We were put into persecution stage for many, many times. But God always spared our life in a miraculous way. I remember one time he brought rain down, a big storm that we were not able to get out of our house, to get to the hiding place, in which place so many, over 2,500 people died. The next day we were preparing to go there because there were peacekeepers at the venue. So we thought it would be safe to go there.
Mm-hmm.
But God knew that there was not a hiding place. The hiding place was in his arms, and we were huddling ourselves together. Our children were feeding us as we were looking through the windows of, who's coming in, who's not. Our children were praying. They were very little, but they fed us with their prayers. Every time we said there is someone a knock at the door, they were praying. And so we did not go out. God brought a storm because William was like, I have a baby. You are pregnant. We cannot go anywhere in this rain. He just locked the door and took the keys, and
Wow.
we trusted God to protect us, and he did. So that's one thing. So really, to answer your question, it's hard to say we were targeted for this and that, but they will always find a reason to target you. Killers are killers.
Yeah.
There is no way. The devil is a devil. It has no reason. It just just blood.
Yeah. How did you escape from Rwanda? Was that difficult? And what was that journey like?
Very difficult.
It was difficult, but
Very.
I mean, I would say we were blessed of having a strong faith because we had a gathering prayer in our house for many years, and everybody knew us that way. They say you are not involved in politics. And we get rescue from different people, the one we don't know, even out of our country.
Yeah.
We get help from different people. We get a rescue from different people who don't know us.
Yeah. So God places, God really put up so many, I always say he put up stones for us to go over and not, not sink. And even here in this country, when we arrived, there were so many stepping stones that God had placed in place for us to feel loved and healed our wounds. And so it's at every stage of our lives, we've seen God.
It's so interesting because we're just finishing our Sunday series has been through the book of Ephesians.
Yeah.
And so we spent a couple of weeks talking about the powers and principalities and how our battle isn't against flesh and blood, but against the powers and principalities.
Yes.
And I feel like what you're saying is, because what we know about the powers and principalities is that there is definitely supernatural forces that are unseen, but then they also work through systems that humans put in place that cause harm for people. And because they're fueled by the powers and principalities of our enemy, it causes division and hatred and all the things that you've lived. And so how does that feel to you? Like, is that how you see it also?
It is. And to really, I still feel those powers even today. Mm-hmm. The powers of darkness are powers of darkness. Mm-hmm. When you are faced with the powers of darkness, you feel suppressed.
Yeah.
And you have no way to lift up your voice. But on the other hand, God showed us his mercies and exactly in the way he really rescued us. Mm-hmm. But also I think that's the time you feel like you need prayers of your brothers and sisters. Yeah. And at one point, really during the terrible time, we asked ourselves, where are our sisters and brothers? Where is the church? Because it's like sometimes you felt like when we hear so and so died, many of our friends who were Christians, good Christians, not involved in politics or anything, you feel like the church is being lifted. Mm-hmm. We were like, why are we here? Why do we still here? But at the same time, you really don't understand where is the church in those moments? Because the church should be an anchor to everyone. And when you don't see your pastor around, when you don't see your other friend around, it's like everyone is harboring themselves and just trying to survive the tragedy. Mm-hmm. God brings angels. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, the Bible became real in us. You read Psalm 23, you feel it's real right there. Mm-hmm. He is your shepherd right now. It's not like the Lord will be. It's the Lord is my shepherd. Mm-hmm. And you feel it real in the moment.
Yeah. And he's with you as you're walking through the valley of the shadow. And he is with you
as you walk through the valley of the shadow. Actually, one of our first documentary is called Through the Valley. Oh. And it's through the valley of the shadow of death, because we saw death. We were this close to it. But he rescued us. He was our shepherd.
And we want to mention, even this happened in our country. Our country, the revival, you heard about the revival in East Africa?
Yes.
It started in Rwanda in 1944 and spread it through Africa, even to get here.
Yeah.
So this happened as a power of darkness because Satan was against.
It was not
And
happy.
after the genocide,
Yes.
after the chaos, many people came back to Christ.
Yeah.
We got a kind of reconciliation. People repent, people reconciled. And if you get in churches, you can't believe that happened.
Yeah. If you get
Yeah,
in Rwanda
churches
now,
are full,
yeah.
the gospel is preached, and people love Christ.
Yeah.
So your organization helps refugees.
Yes.
And we were talking just before we started recording about your experience as immigrants, as refugees in the United States. And for so many people in our community, I feel like not only can we not empathize with it, we can't even understand it because it's so far from our experience.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about those first couple of months that you were in the U.S.? What were the things in your daily lives that were the biggest challenges, and what were the things that were the biggest encouragements to you in that time?
So today is a big confusion about immigrants, refugees, and illegal immigrants.
Right.
So we have different ways, people have different ways to come here. Refugees, I would say refugees are the one who get favor and the blessing of United States to come here. These are people who flee their country because of persecution and fear of death. Some get in another country and get a chance to come here. It's a little percentage. This one get here because United Nations High Commission for Refugees and the United States give them a favor to get a homeland. Because they lose their homeland, they get in other countries, finally they get here. After they get here, they are legal permanent resident. So they are accepted, they are legal, and they have all right to live here.
They have
The
they have
process-
been background checked.
Right.
The process takes a long time.
Yes.
It can take even up to 15 years in a refugee camp because they have to check everything before they get here. After getting here, they have only 3 months to be adjusted.
To adjust.
To be in. So they get here, the federal support them to get housing, job, and social security.
So just for 3 months, though.
For 3 months. That is a
90 days.
regular. So after 90 days, they get jobs, they pay their rent, they start their life. The big experience, let's say even ourselves, if we were a little bit educated, but getting here from another language and you started to learn the fourth or fifth language when you are over 40 is not easy.
No.
So you
Nope.
get here, you have to learn the culture, you have to learn the language, and you have a trauma from the previous life, and you have to struggle with everything.
Was there a Rwandan community here around you? Or
When I came, we didn't. There were not many. When I get here, I had to drive a long distance to meet people who speak the language.
Wow.
Wow.
So what was that like, being just your family sort of isolated in this larger culture that you're trying to
First
learn?
was me for 2 years, and then the family came, which was a big relief So you're struggling about yourself, you're struggling about your family back in another country. So it's really hard. And you're struggling about communication.
Was the 2 years because you weren't allowed to come yet, or because you were coming to settle things first?
No, we were not allowed to come yet.
So
the
just
process-
William had favor, you said, to come.
So the process started. What you never know how long that will take, but it took forever. And I was by myself and 5 kids in Nairobi.
So wait, you left Rwanda pregnant with 1 child.
Yes.
Went to refugee camps.
Yes,
And had
my 5th born
your
was
5th
in
child,
Kenya.
and then your husband
Left.
has to go for 2
Yes.
2 years.
Yes.
And you're
Because-
just hoping that you can go soon.
That we can go soon.
Yeah.
Then it took forever to get approved.
And
Yeah.
you have to remember,
I mean, I have
we didn't
4
have a
kids, and
cell
I get
phone.
mad when my husband's late coming home from
Oh
work.
my goodness! Oh my goodness! No, it's one experience, but it's one experience. But we were not worrying. We were worrying for him alone in a strange land, and that's why I really thank God for the people in this Nashville area, because he landed, and like I said, God had placed so many stepping stones. We had met a missionary in Nairobi, and the missionary, when he came over, he met the missionary in a grocery store, and missionary
after 4 days.
After 4 days,
Wow.
and the missionary connected him with First Press Nashville, the church. The church has been an anchor. And that's what I always say. If you go anywhere and you meet a church, that is your family. That is your friend. We had prayed a lot. When the genocide happened, we lost so many friends. We lost so many siblings. We lost so many of our family members. Then we started praying. Now, when he moved, we were praying for friends, and we were praying for a new church, because it's like you are completely uprooted from anything and everything you knew. And First Press Nashville has been an anchor to the faith that we hold dear, and the friends that we needed to be able to adjust. That's really the beginning of Legacy Mission Village. That was the beginning. The welcome of a church, and the friendships, and the faith that has been rebuilt again.
The healing.
The healing process, the adjustment. You at least when you survive that big, you just begin to ask yourself, why is God really making me this much favor? And so when we saw what happened when he arrived in Nashville, and when we arrived in Nashville, we lived on the church property for a year.
Wow.
He lived on that church property for over 2 years. So it became really important for us to question why God is placing all those favors in our laps.
Yeah.
And so it's because we needed to care for others. That was the beginning of Legacy Mission Village. A call to call the church. The church, when I say the church, I'm mentioning the church in big terms.
Yeah.
To call the church to befriend the newcomers, the new immigrants, the new arrivals. Because really, when you look back, over 80% of the people who are moving into this land at the time were Christians. 80%. And that answered my question when I was doing the genocide in a terrible time. Where are our brothers and sisters? Where are they? And I saw them. I saw them as friends. I saw them as really alive, as people supporting the faith, as people becoming your you're really you and making you who you should be. And so we call the church to really be friend, to really be there for the newcomer, because that's where the friendship will bring these refugees to healing and to becoming new members of a good society.
So how did all of that transition into the activities that became Legacy Mission Village? Did you just start helping people informally with this and that, practicing English or going to the bank or those sorts of things?
Well, and also with that, what happens at the end of the 90 days? Like you said,
Oh,
you
yes.
have 90 days.
So and that's I would say, the common
Okay.
practice or the common code for refugees who come here. Some, like me, you get help and the friends stay around. Some who get here with disability or other problems who can't get able to work, they keep getting a little help, but it can't go over a year.
Oh, so the 90 days is the government
Just
supports
you
you?
get
Support.
here, you get a house, you get a social security, you get
Immuniza-
everything,
Okay.
and then they get you a job.
Okay.
You
You
keep
start a
going.
job.
So
Okay.
any job you get, you have to do it
Got it.
to make money. So when I get here, I would say was a healing. On the other side, Lily, God spoke to me about bonuses day. We live bonus days.
Yes.
For these years, we're supposed to be dead. We got that grace to still alive. After my family get here, my family came in August 1st, 2000. In December, the same missionary called me about the kids who came from Sudan.
Lost boys.
4 kids get here, 1 girl, 2 boys, 20, 17, 16, 14. So these guys get here without any adult around, no guardian, no sibling, no even Sudanese around. So the lady called me telling me about them. I was struggling about my family, new here. I was working a night shift that I can take care of my family a day. And I had to meet these kids, know what is going on, and helping them about everything. So that's how it began. Fortunately, I had many friends in the church, the Sunday school class, whatever. I invited them to join me for that group. And I knew other people in Franklin, in other church. Everybody want to help. The Franklin group moved them from Nashville on Thompson Lane to Franklin. So only 3 get a chance to go to high school, the regular high school. That was in January. In March, this group grew to 70. In July, they were 120.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So during the 90
Yes.
days, they got a little help. And then I tried to organize them. So all time, we have to remember, we struggle with the culture shock too.
Yes.
These guys, between 18 and 25 years old, no adult around, no parents, no guardians. They used to come together when it's warm, sit outside and talk. Having 20, 30 guys
As they were used to in the refugee camp.
Oh yeah.
making noise there was a big alarm. Police was pushing them to get in. The apartment manager was pushing them to
stay inside.
in.
Yeah.
Which
It
they
was
never
hard.
had inside.
Yeah.
So we came to find out a solution. Let's find something to do. We began by soccer, which was not easy too because we didn't have field. But they found out I get some computers, use computers from the Sunday school class and other friends. And then they get organized. After the 90 days, they get jobs. From there, they get kind of direction. But this group was special. We don't have any other group like them.
Yeah.
They came with a mind of focused on education. They has a motto saying education is my father and my mother because they were orphans. After getting jobs, they organized themselves about time, getting in a school, in a GED class, the day, and work the night. So they did well. They graduate from GED. They went in community college. They graduate, and they kept going on. Some are now doctors.
Wow.
So over 150, 120 graduate from college.
Wow.
But that's helped to shape
Yeah.
what Legacy Mission Village looks like today, right? Because there's such an emphasis on education and on community. I mean, when we went down
the
there,
power of community.
Yes, and
Right.
the community.
They were better organized, and with time, people kept coming. Everybody was telling everybody, oh, you can go there. Like we are now Monday, Friday, and Thursday.
and you're still working a job.
Yes.
What were you doing then?
Thursday, I went for citizenship celebration in a court downtown. And one lady was telling me, hey, somebody told me to go to William, that I can get a class for citizenship. I said, who's William? Finally, I told her, it's me. Oh, I heard about you. I never... She was telling me, everybody knows you, but some didn't meet you. So that's how it works. Everybody tells everybody what is going on. Every community was telling another community. So we started by the Lost Boys. We get other communities. Now we serve 33 countries.
Nations, yeah.
So nations, we have
33 countries are
Yeah.
represented at your facility.
Yes.
So to emphasize about what is going on now, all these are legal permanent resident. They are allowed to be here. They work hard to make their life. They work hard to serve the country. And what really is very interesting, everybody has a heart to give back.
Yes.
The young people join the service. The young people found something to do. Most of our staff are the kids we helped.
Yeah.
And after graduating from college, they come back to help. So that's what God called us to do. And we emphasize, we serve different beliefs. We have Christian and non-Christians. But our goal is to show them Christ, even without telling them. We do good deeds, they wonder, oh, where are you from? I used to tell them I'm from heaven. How? You accept Christ, that is a visa. You get there. So showing love, showing different perspective, because most of cultures believe you can do something good for your own people.
For your own people.
So why do you do this?
For us.
Wow.
That is the question. And they are not charging us. Why? They get suspicious about.
And then
But
we
when
tell
we tell
them.
them, I have somebody
In
working in me, and who helped me to do this.
Yes.
And then they get interested because we are fortunate. All people who came in our building, they accept a prayer.
Yeah.
When we call for prayer, they accept.
But you know we are Christians.
When we have the kids and call the kids for prayer, they accept. So we are blessed by preaching the gospel, by deed,
It's okay.
by deed, And we tell them Christ loves you, and Christ is you working through us. That's why we do this.
One of our pre-K, one of our pre-K teachers was talking to a young student. We take them when they are 3 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And the little kid came to her and she was like, "Did Jesus tell you to do this to me?" And she goes, "Yes, Jesus. Oh, and the kid, "Oh, I love Jesus."
Oh, that's
I mean,
so sweet.
that's
Yeah.
what you need to hear from a young believer who's looking at you. And that, of course, that terrifies us, because if we don't show Jesus the same way a kid can know him,
Yeah.
it becomes really terrifying. That's the what we pray for every day. Lord, help me to show your love and care so that everyone can see you through me. That's our prayer every day. Because it's really hard to nurture the faith in the generations when with some of the noises around them. And we have so many. When we look at the culture where we grew up, and this culture, there are so many things going around. And now even the time we grew up, and now this time, there are so many changes as well. So I think we have a mandate to show Christ in many, many different ways, so that the new generation can really understand him. The culture is one thing, but also we have a biblical mandate, and the biblical culture is one. It's the same. It never changes. So I always tell people, it's okay. You have your culture. There are some good in every culture.
Yeah.
There are good in my culture. There are good in this culture. I've embraced so many goods in American culture. I left some of the bad ones from my own culture. Every culture is a culture, and it shapes you. But the biblical culture is one. It's one of the loving your neighbor.
So tell me some of the services. Take me through some of the services that you have that are different ways of showing, because they're really practical, basic ways of showing God's love. So the pre-K thing
Yes.
that you talked about, you've got kids who lived in refugee camps. Maybe
Yeah.
they're not ready for kindergarten and they need to...
They are even born here. But they live in two worlds. Their home is their own culture. Their parents don't know English. They live in their own culture in the house. They are called to public schools or to the mainstream when they get ready, but they have lived in their own culture at home. So we take them when they are 3 and give them because at the home they don't read. They don't know ABCD. They may not have every toy that is in the class.
Don't know how to read.
So when they get to school, when we started, let me take you back when we started pre-K. We received calls. Somehow, anyone who came to our English class, because the English class is the number one program we started, because we know people were struggling with communication. And when you struggle with communication, you get frustrated and you frustrate others. So we started English as a second language to really equip the people with a way for communication. Then those people who were in the English class, whenever they register their kids, they would always give William's phone for communication.
There it is again.
And then we started getting phone calls from teachers of students getting in trouble. To get to the school and find this kid in trouble is a first grade kid. So that's a recipe to hate school forever. So we looked around and we started searching our minds. Why are these first graders getting in trouble. And they are getting in trouble. Why? Because they can't sit on circles. They are running for toys instead of doing something else. So we invited the parents, talked to them, and say, let's have the 3 to 5, because that's really the beginning of a formative time for ABCD. When they get to kindergarten, they know everything an American kid would know.
And they're prepared for the
and
culture.
they are
of an
prepared
American
for the
classroom.
culture in the classroom. The mother gets prepared too, because they come to our class and we give them the language. We also teach them how to follow up with their students. And so it's like not just for this little one, but also the mom get the instructions. What do you do when your kid get home after school? You take the backpack. You look in the backpack. You follow the notes for the teachers. The same way we've done with our own kids. And so it becomes humbling to really be in the shoes of the moms. When we started, it was really mandatory for the moms with a pre-K to come to English class, so they also gain and they get equipped with the language to follow up. We still do that, but we can only take 20 kids in the class in the pre-K because of space, but also because of the teachers. But really, after pre-K, we have like we say, we take we serve the entire family.
And your kids, your older kids class is called Journey, which we like.
Yes. Then we don't have any program for elementary school because we feel like these ones have a longer period of time to grow in the culture. So we have the pre-K. We enroll them into kindergarten, and then they really walk through their the elementary school. We pick them up when they are in high school. That's what we call journey.
Right.
Now, journey for them is the time to grow into the adulthood, really. Because when they are in journey programs, they are given all the social tools. They are now again given the instructions and how to succeed in schools. They are given the power through tutoring sessions. Last year we've really done over 2,500 hours of tutoring sessions, one-on-one.
Test prep, college prep. I mean, that's what amazed me.
Then there is a college preparations, because these are the test SAT prep.
Right.
Those are things that no one in their homes would do for them, because they are first generation growing up here, and the first generation to go to college. We are graduating the first pre-K class now.
Wow.
From high school. And it's so neat to see. It's so good to see that this kid you picked when they were 3 are now graduating successfully in high school with full ride scholarships.
Wow.
That's the thing. It's like
amazing.
when we were there,
Yes.
I mean, you're the two guys who are leading the program.
Yes, they are former Journey students.
We're former Journey students.
Yes, they graduate from Belmont, one, and the other one from Cumberland.
And they,
University.
if I remember correctly, one of them I know we were talking with, he came from a refugee camp when he was 14 years old.
Both of them came from refugee camps.
And they're 24 now.
Yes.
And at 14, they arrive here after the trauma of their past life.
Exactly.
And they go through high school, and they both got full rides.
They got full
to Lipscomb and Belmont, right?
Yes. No, one from Belmont and one from Cumberland University.
Okay.
And now we have one in Vanderbilt.
Wow.
University.
That's what amazed me is like
And
they're not just integrating and succeeding; they're thriving.
Yeah,
right.
They're
excelling.
They are. I mean, we have nurses. We have nurses who graduated, who are Journey students, who graduated, who are now working. And it's so good to really go and meet them on their jobs. And they're contributing members, because that's one of the things that Legacy does. We always have this to become contributing members of the society. That's one of our motto.
That's great.
We train them, we give them integration into the American society to achieve stability and become contributing members of a society. So it's not just like anyhow. We want them to be good contributors, good citizens, and even our citizenship class now booming with new citizens. We have seen that it's important. After they get citizenship, he was telling you about going into at the court with a new citizen graduation. It's important. After this new citizen, now we are moving to teaching them about how do you become a good citizen of a nation. It's important that they know the laws of this country. It's important that they know what their rights are. It's important that they know what their rights are not. It's important that they are educated on becoming new and good citizens. And so we have some volunteers who are coming, and we invite you all. Thank you for sending us some of your members to become really good contributors as they teach English and as also they do Journey, because we have one who does Journey and you have one who is doing ESL.
Yeah.
We want many. We cannot exhaust the resources that you have, and we need. We need those ones.
We're going to take a short little break here because we want to give William and Ebralie time to share their powerful story. And we also want to provide you with some practical ways that all of us in the Journey community can partner with them. When you're done listening to this podcast, if you want to learn more about their work and their story and ways you can be part of Legacy Mission Village, you can visit their website at legacymissionvillage.org. And don't forget, on Sunday, July 6th, William and Ebralie will be with us for our Sunday gathering, and you can meet them in person and hear more of their incredible story. Thanks for listening to Journey Now. Here's the next part.
I wanted to ask you about that because when you're volunteering, I know in my life too, you think, oh, this is great. I love this community. I want to be a part of it. I want to volunteer. And it just seems so big and difficult. And that first step, somebody says, oh, we want you to teach an ESL class. Oh, well, I'm just going to go back home because I don't know how to do that, right? So how do people become involved? And if someone's thinking about this, what's their path?
I mean, volunteering, if I can say it in another word, is building friendship.
Yes.
We are, this coming community helps the welcoming community to understand the world. You meet some people from Asia, you meet some people from Africa, from wherever, and you try to communicate. I tell people, when you come to understand my broken English you know English. Because you never get any other accent. When you come to get my accent, I'm developing you English. So the people come together and build
a friendship,
a new culture, a new society. You come in because you are scared about what to do. I have a friend who was asking me, how somebody who is teaching chemistry to somebody who doesn't speak English. So you learn to understand them. Mm-hmm. They learn to understand you. You build a relationship, and you learn about them. They learn about you from you, and this build another society. So we invite people to get out of the comfort zone and meet these new American. They are no longer strangers. They are new American, and help them to build a better America.
But also, to your question, we have people on our staff who prepare for you as a volunteer. So it's not like we are dumping you into cold waters. No, we have a skeleton staff, but the staff gives you orientation. The staff prepare for you the material. The staff walk you through the material. Until you get comfortable, you observe classes and classes of how the teachers are teaching until you are given full right to teach a class. So there is really a preparation.
That's great.
To get there, to get to becoming a good teacher. I'm looking at Hilary. Hilary is now becoming like our star teacher. She's our star
Hilary
teacher.
Timmons.
Yeah, Hilary Timmons. She was shy and maybe wondering, how do I teach English? But she's developed to learn and love the students she has. And our teachers are wonderful. I cannot find a word to describe.
How much time does it take to volunteer with your organization? Can you do it? I mean, do you have to take on a full class for a full semester teaching the whole thing, or are there smaller commitments?
It takes the time you want to give.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yes, we have commitments. But we also take what a volunteer can give.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can give.
It doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't have to be mandatory that you are there for 2 hours every day or every week. We understand people's lives are busy, right? People are busy, so we take whatever amount of time you have. But we've seen so many volunteers growing to love what they do. And they show up every time. They keep coming back.
So you could come as like a teacher's assistant and
Yes.
just come and if I can't make the commitment that Hillary's made, for example,
Yes.
I could come one day and just help her in her class.
Exactly. You can come one day. You can come. Actually, Hillary shares a class with someone else. You know, or most of the people start as teacher's assistant, and observe the class. But we also have seen amazing ESL teachers who are trained and who are in the congregations, not doing anything. When they show up, those are gifts.
Yeah.
I mean, gifts that you cannot imagine how beneficial they are, because they already have the credits that it takes to teach a class. But again, we don't dump them into cold waters. We train them, they become familiar with our people, and they move forward with a class. So we take whatever a volunteer can give.
So let's make a list where people can volunteer.
That would be great.
Yes.
So they can volunteer for the pre-K. Just spending time with the kids.
Yes.
Helping them for only 2 hours.
2 hours
A day.
in the morning.
And then we have adult education, English class. We have different levels. You can volunteer with any level you feel more comfortable with. And then we have the high school program. The high school program is 1 by 1. If you like math, if you like chemistry, if you like
Biology, whatever
science,
subject.
whatever, even if you want to help kids to understand how to write and to talk,
Yeah.
that works. And then we have a citizenship. Many people like this program, the citizenship. Just is a word, is a word to see somebody you started teaching English, passing the test and becoming a citizen, standing there with the judge in the court. And then we have the high set, which is used to be GED. So you help somebody to work on math, on writing, or whatever, and he get a diploma from high school. So all these programs, I mean, the help for these programs is really a word and exciting moment for volunteers.
Yes.
Seeing somebody coming here and reaching somewhere, reaching a goal is wonderful, and that's what we are supposed to be and to do in our life.
Yeah.
So we invite everybody, even if you want to pray.
Yeah.
You can be a prayer partner.
You can be a prayer partner.
It's another opportunity for volunteering. So you can be a prayer partner, you can be
But also those
a friend to a family.
Even the moms who are homeschooling, we have so many groups who are homeschooling their kids, and those are flexible times that you can even serve with your own children.
That's
so you
beautiful.
can bring the kids you're homeschooling at a pre-K or any of the programs that they want to get. We've had so many groups for homeschool moms who were bringing their kids to pre-K or to Journey if they are in high school.
Yeah,
And
you get the benefits of an international school.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
It is. It's really international. It's
Yeah.
very international because in right now in Journey, we may be having over 10 nationalities there.
So are you limited in how many people you can serve because of your volunteers? Like, what is that looking like
For
today?
English, yes. For
Are
English,
you having to turn anybody away?
we have to make sure that we have classes that are a good size. So we have a list. We have a waiting list. We have a waiting list, especially when a volunteer really shows up. The class Hillary had would not have been if she had not showed up. But she is that in that spot where students could have never,
Wow.
or they were still on a waiting list. So we have a long waiting list, if depending on what volunteers can show up. And again, we have like 2 for 1 class. If one is not available, there is another one who's available. And so that's good. That's good, really,
great.
for us.
So one of the prayer requests we can bring to the community and the congregation, we have been blessed all the time we are doing this by individuals and churches. We don't benefit any federal money or state or metro, so we live by...
You're privately funded.
Yeah, we are
Privately funded, yes.
private funded, and volunteers is another big help. We started with a small space. Now we doubled the space. We have a space, but we don't have a staff.
Yeah.
So we have many people who want to come in, but we don't have staff, meaning we serve the morning. The people who work the first shift don't have a chance to come in because we can't get people. I mean, our staff can't stay until the night.
Yeah.
So we need to keep the space full. We need to serve all these people in need. On the other side, now the refugee program get a kind of challenge because the program is not longer funded by the federal. The organizations working with refugees funded by
The federal government.
the federal, they reduced a lot of the programs. They are like not 50% working. So meaning there are many people who need help
Services.
to keep learning, to keep being served. So getting more volunteers, that will be a good help.
So can we talk a little bit more about that? Because I think, for us, we see what we see on the news and on social media, and excuse me. You said it earlier, William, that people are confused.
Yeah.
Even between the difference between a refugee, an immigrant, and an undocumented person. And so, we all know that we can't believe everything that we see, but we're trying to make sense of it.
Yes.
And so can you help us make sense of some things? Because like you mentioned, you're getting more people because of cuts in the federal government. What does that mean for you, and how are we to make sense of it? Let's start there.
So let's say the work really the country is doing for immigrants is appreciated, 100%. These are people who don't have where to go,
Right.
but they're well blessed to get homeland. So the one who get here legally, I would say they don't have much problem because they're accepted. They don't have any issue. But the situation today is confusing. So if you meet somebody in a grocery store, you can know is here legally, is here, is undocumented, whatever. What we tell our people, have all papers on you. In case somebody asks you who you are, you show you are here legally. Up to now, we don't hear anybody who get trouble for that. So the church, God's people, they need to ask when they want to help. In helping you, am I getting in trouble or you are here legally? And then they get engaged. We remember in the Bible, God gave to his people the rule of creating city of refuge. If somebody get there, he get care. And in Leviticus, God calls his people to take care of immigrants because they were immigrants. So it's mandatory for the church, for believers, to help immigrants because we are all immigrant. For sure, our citizenship is not yet here, but we have a citizenship in heaven where we are heading to. So while we are waiting to get there, let's do what we are supposed to do. Prepare ourselves.
Yeah.
Make sure we are in the right path to our citizenship because we are already immigrant here. We are in exile. So for the church, for believers, getting involved requires just communication. It doesn't require to investigate. It doesn't require to push people. Just ask. Are you here legally? Are you working with legal people? That's what I think is right and is clear to make it.
Yeah, but also, Suzie, I think there is a question that lies in the minds of people about what to do. And I don't think we could sit here and find an answer to that question. Because some of the, like I said before, when we were engulfed by the terrible war in Rwanda, which no one invited, the question in our minds was, where is the church? Where are our brothers and sisters? Why we don't advocate for people to break the laws? And we have been clear about people being true and obeying the laws of any country they get to. It becomes a question to the church to what do we do when our government says this and that? How would the church become an advocate of truth and social justice is another question that the church will wrestle with themselves, given the mandate they have from God. Did he call you to serve the documented or undocumented or serve all people?
Well, that's the question, right?
Or all people? That is the question that the church entities will wrestle with.
Yeah.
What I'm looking at as a church member or as a believer is that advocacy as a loud voice from the church to protect, to care, to love, and to nurture. And that's a question that lies really with the church as an entity. all the congregation members, all of the instances of a church. I don't think we can be telling you what to do as a church, but whatever mandate you've been given, pray hard to understand what the Lord is asking you to do in the face of controversies. Because what I'm telling you right now is we have all those groups. We have undocumented, we have documented, we have legal, we have illegal, we have criminals, we have non-criminals.
Right.
Should the church sit back and watch? Should the church be a bystander? Should the church get involved and know what's going on with so and so? You may have them in your church. Are you going to chase them away, right? Or are you going to drill down on who they are, befriend them, know them really well, and get way to help them?
Befriend them is
Befriend
really
them.
that's the key thing.
Yes.
And what I see you doing, you tell me if I'm right or not, but you've chosen to serve a very specific mission, right?
Yes.
But what you're doing is not really just serving that mission. You're allowing people to know and see
Yes.
and understand each other
Yeah.
cross-culturally, cross-experientially, whatever that is, in a way that then builds that understanding and those muscles for other things too, whether you're meeting someone on the street or whether you're meeting somebody that you see in the news. All of that.
Yes, because it's there. It's here with us.
Yeah.
It's right here with us. And there is no way to look into the heart of a person.
Right.
But we have a platform for you to come and build on that platform and know who we serve. What we have wrestled with when this all started is to know who's in our building. Is to know, are we having any issue? Is if someone gets in our building, are we liable of anything? And we found none. But it's because we had those relationships and trusted relationship to tell our people, the people we serve, can we see your papers? And they brought their papers. So some of them, many of them, or most of them, have their papers with us to make sure that we are not breaking the law, because the law needs to be respected. This is us as an organization.
Right.
As a church, it is a different case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, all in all, befriending an individual, knowing them well, making sure who they are, is a solution that does not eliminate the care and the love of what we are called to do. Because we are called to love. But it's a question. It's a big question, especially. I'm telling you, during the genocide, people killed each other because of what they hear from the news, right? Rwanda was 85% Christian. If Christians had rise up to their mandate, maybe the killings would not have reached 1 million, right? It could also be that if you find someone who have broken the law, you advise them to maybe obey the law. But some people are stranded, maybe not knowing what to do. You are the voice that can tell them, see, this is it. You have broken the law. Maybe there is a way out. You know, you can go outside and come back legally. Those are all the things that you really, when you befriend someone, that you get closer and closer to the person that you can advise them to do. So we call the church, or we know in our building, there is all legal refugees. And our board makes it clear that we serve legal immigrants.
I'm curious. Maybe we should have started the conversation, but the name of your organization is Legacy Mission Village, right?
Yes.
Why did you choose the word legacy, and what does that mean to you?
What legacy? It's the legacy of serving. It's the legacy of serving. We call families and churches to serve. And that's the legacy that should be left behind us. So the legacy of believers serving other believers. And we call ourselves also a village, right? The last word is village. The village is really an entity where you can find everyone and anyone and whatever.
Right.
Right? So in that village of ours, what we call a village, there are people we know. People in the village help each other. People in the village know each other. People in the village serve each other. And that's the legacy that characterizes our village.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you for your time. I mean, I feel like we could talk forever. I mean, we could go in lots of different directions. You mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned those first few young boys that you from Sudan. Those are the Lost Boys, right? And so there's a documentary about them. And then there's the train. There's also 2 documentaries about you guys and your work.
There is one documentary about us and
Okay.
a movie.
Okay. And so we'll
And a
put
movie.
links to those in the show notes.
Yes.
Maybe.
The movie is Beautifully Broken.
Mm-hmm.
We have a book too. Did we give you the book
Wow.
last time?
We're sitting here with multimedia stars.
I
How
know.
did I not bring the book? So we have a book called Beautifully Broken. We have a movie called Beautifully Broken. And we have a documentary called Through the Valley. And it's really Through the Valley of a Shadow of Death from Psalm 23. So those are the 3 things that are out there.
Beautifully Broken's on Amazon,
Yes.
and Through the Valley is where?
Through the Valley is not, it's on our tapes.
It's not on YouTube or anything?
No, it's not on YouTube,
Okay.
but I can give you the tape. I can give you the recording of it. It earns so many stars that actually how we moved on to making the movie with the ratings of the documentary.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah,
for
I will
people.
get those to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
thank you for being with us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. This is really good.
And for those who are interested further, besides the volunteer opportunities, you both are going to be visiting us on a Sunday
Right,
in
July
July,
6th.
right? So July 6th, if you want to meet our friends from Legacy Mission Village, come, and that's going to be the whole Sunday, right? You're going to interview them and talk about how we partner with them.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it.